As a product manager, you want to iterate and solve problems rapidly. However, you cannot do this alone. It requires a team to get you there, and one of your key partner is the product designer. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Teresa and I'm a product director based in Melbourne, Australia. And on this channel, we explore strategies and tools that inspire us to keep growing in our product career. Today, I'll go through the top 7 things to help you collaborate effectively with your product designer. Before we begin, not every product manager will have a product designer, depending on the domain that you look after. So for example, if you're a product manager looking after platform teams, most likely you'll be heavily working with engineering partners. So let's start with understanding how the product designer role has evolved over time in response to change of technology, consumer preference, and business practice. Before the Industrial Revolution, product design was primarily around craftsmanship and artistry. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, mass production became possible. Product designers shift to accommodate the manufacturing process, with designers considering the efficiency of production, standardization, and cost effectiveness. In the early 20th century, the modern design movement emerged, emphasizing on simplicity, functionality, and mass production. After World War II, there was a strong demand for affordable consumer goods. Product designer played a significant role in shaping the consumer culture by creating innovative and accessible products for the growing middle class. From then, in the later half of the 20th century, human-centered design principles gained prominence. Designers started focusing more on the user needs, ergonomics, and user experience. This shift was particularly notable in the field of UX, UI design, where technology began to play a more significant role in people's daily lives. The advent of computer and digital technology revolutionized product design. It opened up new possibilities for design, prototyping, and manufacturing. Product designers began using computer-aided design software and 3D modeling tools, enabling faster and more accurate iterations. In recent years, design thinking has become a critical approach to product design. This human-centric, iterative, and problem-solving approach, emphasizing with users, defining problems, generating ideas, prototyping, and testing. Design thinking has embraced not only by product designers, but also by businesses in various industries in a way to drive innovation. Today, product designers often collaborate closely with product managers, engineers, marketers, and other stakeholders. The integration of design with business goals and strategies has become vital to create successful products that meet users' needs while also achieving a commercial success. From all these evolutions, the product designer of today are responsible not only for the visual part of the product, but the way of product works and interacts with customers. So how do we, as product managers, collaborate effectively with product designers? The first one is build a ways of working together. This is important as they are one of your key partners in order for the success of your role, your team, and the product. So get to know your product designer, their roles, responsibilities, their background, where do they come from in terms of company and experience. Get to know each other's working style. One activity that I start with is called the best of me, something that I've learned from another organization. Ultimately, this activity is trying to draw out the condition and behavior that will bring out the best and the worst of ourselves. So we start with fill it in 4 boxes, individually take time to fill it out. The first box is, you'll get the best out of me when. These things can be like when it's honesty, have enough business context. The second box is, you will see I'm not at my best when. This could be things like if I don't have my coffee before 9 a.m. or when I'm feeling like my time has been wasted. The third box is, you can count on me, such as being approachable, open-minded to new ideas, and support the team. And the fourth box is, this is what I want, what do I need from others. This could be more context or trust. Then each person will present back to each other and get a good understanding on how we all work together, what we value, and be aware of those things that don't bring the best out of each other. After that, make sure you establish ways of working by writing it up and then start looking at how frequently should you be catching up and keeping each other updated. The second one is involve them in the early stage. This is probably where most product designers will feel left behind. The earlier you bring them into the thinking and exposing to the larger business context, then they can start planning their work and start setting goals for the user experience. Ensure you regularly and openly share the business context and future thinking often. And also taking in their feedback, that could actually feed into the business direction. This will create a strong partnership as you are also representing design thinking in the early business thinking, if there are limited seats at the table. Make sure you plan your product thinking together with your product designer. That way they know more about the business context, understand the purpose, know the success metrics, and also can contribute to some of the thinking. Number 3, share the responsibilities of understanding your customer. This is where the overlap of the product manager and the product designer happens. You are both responsible for understanding the customer. It is important that you divide and conquer your task in this section. So for example, planning early stage research. This should be led by the product designer if you don't have a researcher. And the product manager should support by giving a clear purpose on what the research should be based on. Who are the cohorts or target audience for the research? And what kind of questions does the product need to answer here? Customer interview preparation. This should be led by the product designer. Again, if you don't have a researcher. And the product manager should support with a list of potential questionnaires which contributes to the flow of the interview and assists with the arrangements where there's required. The post-interview, the product designer should also lead on the gathering of the insights. And the product manager should support this as it can be quite time consuming, and then work together to look at how will you categorize the insights. When transferring insights into opportunity, this is where the product manager should lead and the product designer should support the crafting of the opportunities. Product manager should lead and be responsible for creating the structure and identifying the opportunities and then tying them to the business outcome. And then leading the discovery process to get these opportunities into delivery. Number 4 is clear design brief and documentation. This is about ensuring you have a clear outline of the purpose, the why, the business context it's achieving, the core metrics you want to measure, any detailed requirements, constraints, and priority of the work so that the product designer can plan and manage their work appropriately. Number 5 is feedback and iteration. This is probably one of the most critical part of the process. It's actually to provide constructive feedback during the design review. Make sure you take the time to speak to your product designer instead of saying you like this or you don't like certain things. Think about explaining the why behind your feedback and how you believe this could impact the customer. These types of feedback will be super helpful instead of the surface level feedback, which is much difficult for your product designer to action. Support your product designer in their design process to have a continuous improvement feedback loop during discovery and post-release. Remember, design always has room for continuous improvement, so it's not finished once it's live. You need to create the space for iterative improvements with your product designer to ensure that it's achieving the business outcome and hitting the expected metrics. Number 6 is regular check-in and milestones with each other. Start building cadence around your discovery process into maybe fortnightly sprints. Therefore, there's a structure and an expectation on the rhythm and the different milestones you need to achieve as a team together. The last one is respect expertise. There is nothing worse than being told how to do your job by a different function. Therefore, respect each other's expertise and understand how you complement each other's domain and be very clear on who's leading or supporting. This is the most important part of your partnership if you want to have an effective and a high-performing team. Alright, let's get a quick summary of the top 7 things you should do in order to collaborate effectively with your product designer. The first one is ensure you build a ways of working together. Involve them early in the stage to get a larger business context. Share the responsibilities of understanding your customer together. Clear design brief and documentation. Be constructive with your feedback and create space for iterative design improvements from feedback. connect regularly and set milestones for each other, and respect their expertise. If you find this video helpful or inspiring, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, if you have suggestions or tips on how to collaborate effectively with product designers, please share them in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.